Yeah.
No, I was joking about it. I was rolling audio, but then I made a joke about rolling on Molly. And that would...
I never use the catchphrases or the catchwords, the fucking words. I never say rolling, and that's what I'm trying to say. Because, as you can see, I'm a huge nerd. Just by trying to say I never roll.
Would you call it catchwording?
Yeah, that was terrible.
Catchword. I love catchword. Catchword is such a cool...
My head's not there, man, but I don't know. I'm working
if you were running like a speakeasy in the 1920s, you're like, what's the catchword? Things like that. It'd be very fun. Hey, Mo, are we rolling right now?
Yes, Red. Yes, we are.
Oh, holy crow! Welcome to Loser Leaves Wrestling. Loser Leaves Wrestling with Red Jefferson and Moet Jaswal. Moet, how are you?
Hey, Red, I'm hanging in there. I'm here. Very interesting AEW Dynamite tonight.
Hell yeah. It was actually, I had a lot of fun. I thought there was a lot of great things in here and a lot of questionable things in here. We just finished watching it, Loser Leaves Wrestling. Please follow us on Instagram and like us on YouTube and go onto your whatever podcast streaming service you use and review us. Yeah, we had a great show of great fun things happen. Mo, what's your big woo of the evening? What's your first big woo?
First big woo is I liked Kenny Omega versus Pentagon, the main event of the show. It was great. It felt like an anime to me. Like, I've seen these guys go very fast before, but I really appreciate how slow it was, where it's just like one or two moves and then sort of like they both pose, for the camera, and their character work is just so good that I don't care that they didn't pull off like too many crazy moves for like today's standards, Like, I just love seeing both of them in the ring. So
yeah,
and it was a
great match. It was a great match, and exactly what you said. They did a lot of character work. I like to see this Kenny coming back. Like slowly but surely, you're seeing just more of the animation that he used to have before. Mm-hmm. My one issue, and we talked about it last week, is also on my woos. It's definitely so far we're on the right path.
There you go.
Both on the same move. Kenny Omega. No, it's the arm breaker move.
Yeah,
the arm breaker move bothers me so much because I want that to be so special, and it's impossible. I want that to be, and it gets such a big pop from the audience, even when it's a barely capacity audience. You like the huge pop, and the fact that it doesn't end matches or end careers pisses me off. I just didn't want him to use it.
I agree with that, but the thing is, it's what I had to come to terms with that it's not the same move that was used in Lucha Underground. I think that's probably that's where you're seeing it, though, right? You're remembering Lucha Underground style. Yeah, I know it could be, but we just have to
be, and it wouldn't be bad in this world.
But
in this world, it would be great.
But you have to what I liked about it was very deadly, and that it actually mattered, right? Like it. Yeah. It was a big deal to the point that these wrestlers weren't around for a couple weeks after, to sell that they broke their arms in Lucha Underground. But as a company, you have to commit to that concept so hard. Lucha Underground did it, but AEW, I don't know if they can afford that sort of.
There's
idea.
A way. I feel there's a way, Moet, and the way is by not doing it as often.
Sure.
Have it be a move that's illegal. They're like, no, you can't break people's arms in a match. And then every now and then during a no DQ match, he whips it out and gets the quick win. I just want that to be special. But that being said, it was a very good match. And I was very happy with it on both sides. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. I agree. I was just thinking, actually, he could totally pull that off on Dark. There's so much enhancement talent type of, indie wrestlers. I don't like using enhancement talent, but I guess that's what they are in this case. But just break Aaron Solo's arm. No one's gonna notice.
I would love that. Why aren't they, in all honesty, I maybe not even break it, but the next week they have a week off. The next week you see him in a sling.
Yeah.
Just something like that. If you need to give a guy a week off or you need to build a storyline, have him face him and break his arm. But excellent. We're on the same page. Excellent stuff. We're doing God's work here, Moet. What's our next woo? What do we have?
I forgot to look this up. But number 2
you stopped at that. You stopped at one woo.
No.
I forgot.
I just forgot the format. No, Serena Deeb versus that shoot fighter.
Leyla Hirsch.
I got
Hirsch or Hirsch.
I got Hirsch with a question mark. It was on her tights. It said her last name. I think it was Hirsch. Yeah.
Yeah. Leyla Hirsch.
Leyla. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
the Leyla.
That's what it was. Yeah, she was excellent. She was great. She was a standout for me. I was so excited about the fact that we haven't seen that type of. At least I might be wrong. Maybe I don't think we've seen like a shoot fighter female wrestler.
She wrestles like
possibly
Taz.
Ever. Yeah,
wrestles like Taz, and I loved it. She's the same body type as Taz. She wrestles like Taz. Like I loved it. Like this, just a like short, stout, athletic, like suplexes, submission work. And isn't she a Russian? Isn't that her thing? Like she's a Russian.
Oh, it was my first time seeing her. I don't know.
I think she's from Russia.
Okay,
which I just love. I already love. What a great match. Everything about it. They beat the shit out of each other. Clean win.
And she's believable. Like she could move. She moves like an amateur wrestler. Like you could tell she knows what she's doing. She's like actually worked on the mats before. It's awesome.
Yeah. And do they need to get her on board? That's these are the type of wrestlers they should be bringing on board. They're already made packages. No offense to the bunny. No offense to what's her name,
Allie,
Britt Baker's Allie or Britt Baker's Reba. But they're all missing something big. Be it something. Either they can't talk, they can't wrestle, or they don't know what they're doing. There's something that's stopping. And like someone like her, who is literally like the complete package. You could throw her into anything, any little bulldog role. She's a little bulldog. I'm a big fan.
Yeah,
big fan.
Definitely. Yeah.
Wow, what a positive journey we've been on so far. Two things that we're both very enthusiastic about. But what's your next woo going on? We're going on 3. This is going to be 3 for 3. I feel it.
I don't know about this. The next one, I said Hangman versus Wardlow.
Jeez.
This one, that was the one I'm like, I just didn't know what else to put. And I have a really good number 4. I'm way more excited about my next one more than this. But I guess we got there's nothing I don't know.
No, we could just say who won it. Hangman, of course, won it.
Yeah. I like Wardlow.
What did you like about it? Name one thing you liked about it.
I had Roku issues. Okay, I just wanted to make it sound. It was a match I was most excited about, and I knew I was going to like it. So I felt obligated to put it on number 3, and I did double check before talking to you. So,
if it was good.
Yeah, I didn't really. I'm pretty sure it was good. What did you think of it? Did you? Was it a good?
Excellent number 3.
Was it a
Let's
good
move
one?
on to number 4. I'll go to my next woo. What I think of it was fine. I have a what in there, but I'm going to discuss it on our what's. There's a small little what, but you're going to 100% agree with me. We discussed it in the past episode. My next woo, we'll just glaze over that one.
Yeah.
My next woo is MJF on Sammy Guevara. MJF, when they confront each other at the very beginning of the night, MJF said to Sammy, he's just like, hey, a quick tip on promos. Don't. And he said that he looks like he sells Adderall to middle schoolers.
That's good. You could tell he was thinking about that all day. It was like just this one quick thing to insult.
Actually, I honestly feel, and maybe this is me just putting him on like these very high pedestal. I think he's just so naturally good at finding the thing that people are most insecure about and saying that to them, because he does.
Yeah.
Sammy Guevara does look like a little punk shit. He looks like a punk little shit, and he sucks on the mic, and he feels self-conscious about it.
Yeah. You could see it. It was harsh. That was my woo as well. Actually, that was going to be one of them. Yeah.
So we're still going. We're 3-1. Well, what's your next woo?
My next and last woo of the evening is it looked like Jake Roberts was wearing a snake bib. What? Yes, Red. It looked. If you go back, you check the tapes, Red. He was wearing a black shirt, but on the shirt it appeared right above, right around the nipple area and above was just like snake embroidered, but it had an oval shape, like a bib, like a little baby bib. He's an old man, but he is in love with snakes. Snake bib. It's the best thing of the night.
So he has a snake skin bib.
Yes.
What a monster. What a monster. What a monster. And also very funny for them to be sitting in the crowd watching. Like Lance Archer's character, I can't imagine ever sitting. Like, I imagine that's like a character trait that he's constantly pacing. Yeah. Like, that would be a good thing for them. The fact that he's sitting and then Jake's holding it back while he's not moving at all.
Yeah, it was pretty insane. I mean, it's like watching them. It makes me think of like them at like a baseball stadium or something. This Lance Archer eating like a hot dog. Like, it's not. It doesn't make sense when he's just like very casually in the stands.
Yeah,
I agree.
100%.
I agree.
That was not one of my woos. I have 2 more woos.
Wow. What?
Yeah, I had I had 3 that I said, the Hirsch, Serena, Deeb, MJF, and Kenny Omega. I don't know how our math gets off, and I always forget. My next 2, these are quick. I'll just go through them quick. Eddie Kingston versus Matt Sydal. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good match. I've realized about Eddie Kingston. I've realized about this guy. He's almost like a Roddy Piper, in that he has a very good personality. He has a very like when he's wrestling, when he's not saying anything, you see his intentions, you see his anger, you see his frustration, you see everything. He's a hurt guy. And so, but he's not the best wrestler, and he's a good wrestler. He understands things, but he's kind of like 5 years past his prime. Mm-hmm. And you could tell he moves a little slower. So someone like Matt, who could run around and jump for him, and then the facial expressions on Kingston are amazing. Like, he's very good at getting you involved in the match if the other guy could work real fast. That's my hot take on that. What do you think of that?
That makes sense to me. That's pretty much it. Yeah, he does. I think they're both kind of old for wrestler age. I think late 30s, early 40s.
Matt Sydal is 10 years younger in health.
Yes, yeah, for sure. He can still move, and it's really impressive.
Yeah, he looks amazing. And he is they're probably the same age, if not Matt, maybe even a little older.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, but Kingston definitely has the wear and tear on him, I think. Sure. He's got the gut. He's got the look. He's got the manicured face. But everything, it's just a mask to hide the age. And
he's which I love about him. That's one of my favorite things about him, is because he looks like a sack of shit. No, I'm not trying to be mean about him, but like he looks like he's like the world life has beaten the shit out of him. You know, and like his body's a little chubby. He's limping a lot. You know, like he's got this intensity in his eyes. Like he's like seen terrible things. Like, I love everything about that character. He's a psycho dad. He's a psycho uncle. Well,
I just can't. Well, I can't get over how like well groomed his face is, though. Like, he's got a perfectly crafted beard. His eyebrows are always perfect. You know, everything just seems like really perfectly made. But that's what I like about him, is that he's a psycho dad that goes to the spa occasionally.
That's 100% one up, because he's like, I need this for me.
Yeah, yeah.
This is
and then he would cut a very passionate promo.
John Moxley can ever step in this place, this salon of mine.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
And my last woo is the Lumberjack match. I loved that Lumberjack match. And is this going to go right into your what's?
Yeah, it is. It is. I did not like it at all.
Let me give my pitch for why it's a woo.
Yeah,
I thought the match itself, between the two, was fine. Like, it was nothing different than that they did before, but I enjoyed it. Fundamentally good match. But this is the best use of a Lumberjack match I've seen in a long time, because they have the two members. First thing, it's a weird one, because they're both technically faces. And there's half good guys, half bad guys. Pretty much all the bad guys are Dark Order. Every single one had a little, like, for instance, the Nightmare Factory, Nightmare Factory, what are they called? Nightmare Family?
Family.
The Nightmare Family.
The Factory's guys, too.
But, like, best friends caught Orange Cassidy and helped him out, give him a hug, put him out the ring. They catch Cody, they drop him because they don't want to help their friend. And then the same thing happens. Orange Cassidy, he goes over to the side and like he gets beaten up. All that. I just love the dynamic. I felt there were real consequences and a real story being told outside of the Lumberjack match than otherwise would have. I hated the ending though. Hated the ending because fucking John Silver runs in there, gives him the boot, which I'm fine with. But then Arn Anderson punches him in the face. And we didn't even get to see it. And I felt like, one of those two should have happened. Either Arn Anderson punched him and they got the win, or John Silver kicks him so they could have their match for next week. But they shouldn't do both. It's a waste.
Yeah, and then don't get in the ring. I don't think that it just ruined the idea of the lumberjack thing, because there's so many other. If he gets in the ring, why doesn't everyone just jump in the ring quickly and DQ or something? Well, actually, no. Trent also did like a sucker. Well, but that's okay because it was by the ropes. Yeah, I think if Orange Cassidy was by the ropes,
I think there's definite lines that you could cross a little bit. Yeah. The great thing about a lumberjack match is like it can't be a DQ. There's no DQ finishes in a lumberjack match. You can't really have one, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, no, you could get counted out. That's one idea, is they beat you until they count you out. But
the idea of the lumberjacks is that they're supposed to make sure you can't not go back. Their job is to throw you back in the ring.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it beat you up pretty well. I liked lumberjack matches in the 90s when it was like more like stereotypical clear cut heels, villains and faces. It made a little bit more sense. This one, I wasn't into the dynamic of like they got tossed into the face side too many times where like nothing happened to them, and it just like ruined the whole point to me of the lumberjack match, where it's fun to see them get beat up and like crowded on by like 8 people, but that just wasn't happening. And it just like made me lose the idea, like the point of why it was a lumberjack match in the first place, because like I thought maybe Dark Order, the point storyline wise was that Dark Order was gonna screw everything up, but they didn't really do it.
I don't. That does actually make sense why they had a lumberjack match in the first place. Because the issue with the last one is that they ran the time limit, right?
Yeah,
they ran the time limit. They couldn't. So wouldn't you have just a match that's a no time limit, or wouldn't you have a match that's something like I don't know, something where it's like there's an objective, like a ladder match or something. Like the fact that there's they have people around the ring. Nobody tried to leave.
Yeah.
Like Cody's not running away. Neither was Orange Cassidy. Why do you have a lumberjack match?
Exactly. And then also, I guess I just wasn't into how they all just like fight each other at the end and fight each other on the outside. I guess that does happen at lumberjack matches. So, but it was just like a pet peeve of just like, what was the point of like, one side, you throw someone on the other side and then the heels like, like, boo, like, why don't they just rush them in the very beginning and fight each other? Like, sure. I don't know. Maybe I'm being kind of nitpicky.
No.
Negative,
this was my last woo for a reason. It was because it was a stretch. I did like those individual things. Like I loved when Best Friends caught him and dropped him. That was fun.
Yeah, it wasn't all bad. I like that. Yeah,
that was fun, and I liked the interaction between. Like I liked the idea that Arn Anderson was in a tracksuit. Big fan of Arn Anderson in a tracksuit. I thought that was also great because I thought he was going to fight. I was ready for him to fight, and I'm so upset we didn't get to see that punch.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that was your first. So that's your what? That's your biggest what of the night?
That was my third, but yeah.
All right. Well, I'll give you a what. Not my first what of the night, but my close to. This was talking about Wardlow. Wardlow's contract details. What's going on with him and MJF? Where like if Wardlow wins the championship, MJF gets to get it because he owns all of his property. What did Wardlow sign? This is a terrible deal. Did you see that in the beginning?
Was that at the very beginning? Yeah, that was the Roku issues. Issues. So, it screwed up, a little bit here and there.
Essentially, MJF says, if Wardlow wins, it's in his contract that anything that he does according to his matches that I benefit from. So he has to hand over any property that he gets to me. And I don't understand. This is very convoluted. You've had an issue with it in the past, and I thought that was something we were going to agree on.
Yeah,
but
no,
damn Roku.
I do agree. Oh no, but I do agree with it. But do you remember what MJF's first? Like they mentioned his contract for the first time maybe 2 months ago or something like that. Do you remember what the stipulation was when he said it the first time? Like that that Tony Khan wasn't paying him.
Yeah,
that MJF was paying him, and then. But that's why he couldn't get too angry. But now Tony Khan's paying him for these matches, right?
No. MJF's paying him an annual salary. He's on salary. He's on salary right now. Sick days, the works, benefits. But he has to hand over all intellectual property ascribed to him, and he monikers. He's basically the WWE of AEW. He hires Wardlow out and he owns everything about him.
That is a good way to describe MJF.
Oh my God, that's actually
He's
a great way to. He's the WWE, and he's just like, I would love for him to sneak out, just like, oh, you're not my employee, you're an independent contractor, but you cannot work for anyone else. And really double down on MJF WWE. There's something there.
I think that's a good idea. That's good. Yeah. That whole thing is very confusing. And you know what? I don't think AEW or MJF or Wardlow care. I think they're just going to keep making up rules, and we'll get their match eventually, and we'll all rejoice.
We'll all rejoice. What's your next what of the evening? Your big what?
Big one is it's not the big one, but I just kind of arbitrarily, but it was annoying. Was the Young Bucks FTR promo? I'm just kind of bummed out. How they're consistently just like torpedoing the whole feud, like of how this is like a feud 2 or 3 years in the making, and now it's like heel versus heel. You don't know, like FTR feels disrespected, and they actually kind of are disrespected. The Young Bucks don't make any sense about how, like, what their motives are or what's going on.
This feels like the invasion angle in 2001. Like, everyone wanted this to happen for so long, and when we get it, they totally botch it.
Yeah, and this one in particular, Matt is he's a bad actor, I think, or he's just a bad promo. I don't know what the hell was going on. It just, nothing clicked for me with what he was saying. And then they had a tag team stipulation that if they lose, then they're never going to challenge for the belts again. So it's the same thing that Cody did with the world title like a year ago or whatever it was. And then he lost, and so now he can never, And that at that time I thought was great, because it really like threw everything around. Like, it kind of stopped the concept of, I guess, like nepotism, but it's not nepotism, but like
of him being cronyism. I don't know. It's one of the isms. Yeah, basically where you're using your power to get all the goods.
Yeah. It stopped that dead its tracks. It kind of proved the company that the company wasn't going to do that. That they were going to like hold themselves to a higher standard. Now, Cody's doing that for the TNT belt, but it doesn't feel as gross as it could have been if he was just holding the top titles. So that's great. But this, like, kind of just annoys me, because they can't not challenge for the belts, right? Like, they can't become single stars, or just like, what are they going to do? So to me, it just ruins the pay-per-view, because I think they're going to win now. Like, I don't see how they could potentially lose with that stipulation involved.
This really sank the entire feud for me. Like you mentioned, the entire segment sucked. They have Tully there. He's not saying a damn word. They're letting these two, like, and like, they aren't bad. Dax and Cash aren't the worst, but Tully's so much better. And also, Excalibur is wearing a fucking t-shirt looking like a schlub on the side. And Young Bucks should not be talking. Young Bucks shouldn't be talking. They're not effective talkers. No. I don't know what they could do, because like, they're the elite. Like, I would love for them to have a mouthpiece. I would love for them, like, for this gimmick, Vicky Guerrero. Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero with the Young Bucks. Hell yeah. I'm so about that.
I think they're fine on the mic in general. I just think that he was just reaching too far. He just had a lot to say, and a lot of a particular emotion that he wanted to pull off. He just couldn't do it. In general, like, I don't think they're great, but they're endearing when they talk. Like, I'm okay with them.
They're natural faces. They are not heels. And the fact that they're trying to be heels, if you're going to force them to be heels, even though they're so genuinely not hateable, even though that they're annoying. Very annoying.
They started as heels. Well, not started. Well, I don't know if they started, but they got, when they were becoming popular, they were like huge heels in like Japan with Bullet Club. Yeah, because they were so annoying. That's what you're like. They used their annoying like killing the business was sort of like a cool heel move sort of thing. Like, they were one of those acts where they were heels, but they were so cool that they ended up becoming faces. So that they kind of like had this. They blurred the lines. They would come out. At times they would come out in outfits with just their faces on it, like 1,000 of the Young Buck faces. Just it was so ugly. Just their pants and their jackets, and just like the super kick party was supposed to be an annoying thing, because in the mid 2000s the super kick was like more like revered. Like with and so there's kind of like, being like, yeah, we're fucking killing the business. Who cares? But yeah.
I guess that works once now your brand, you're killing the business is now the regular.
Yes.
You know, everyone's doing super kicks all the fucking time. And you created this thing where everyone's diving. You've created a new style. You created a thing. And now you doing that anymore is no longer heelish. It's more just redundant. It's your gimmick. It's your style. They can't be heels unless they do something different. I don't know. This whole thing where they're super kicking people for no reason. Now they haven't talked about that. They haven't said a word about the past 2 weeks that they were super kicking everyone. They dropped that. They super kicked Tony Schiavone. Tony Schiavone's never been touched. Never been touched. And they didn't use that properly.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And they've been faced for the last, I guess, all of AEW so far. Yeah, so, and for all the reasons you mentioned, that they basically all the heel tactics they were doing are now just commonplace. So they do, I think, bringing it up, I just want to say, I think they have the ability to be really great heels. They just have to find another spark, and they haven't done it yet. They're like forcing this transformation.
It feels forced. It feels forced. That's it. It definitely feels forced. Well, moving on. What's our next what of the evening? What do you got after this? This is the number 3 or 4?
This is actually my third, because the one was the ladder match, or not lumberjack match. Sorry. This is gonna maybe break your heart. The town hall. Question mark, because I want to see your reaction to it.
Well, tell me what you thought, because tell me what you think of it. Tell me what you thought.
MJF, Chris Jericho town hall. I liked very little of it. I didn't like the format. I thought it was a dumb format. I thought it was very unnecessary to have wrestlers give them questions. I don't know what, I guess they're trying to do a presidential sort of rib, but who the fuck cares? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. I think the 2 wrestlers that they got, Luchasaurus, Britt Baker, looked worse for being there, because it made them literally look up to Chris Jericho. Like, it makes them on different pedestals, like as if they could, like, Chris Jericho is a celebrity to them, instead of, especially for Luchasaurus, like someone that he could beat up and like potentially become, he's like a champion. Sure. Now it's like a different, like, oh, look at you guys. And so I wasn't a fan of their questions. I wasn't a fan of any of that.
And Eric Bischoff.
That's fine. I'm indifferent to that. I just thought it was unnecessary. I don't know. Sure. It had already lost me by the time Eric Bischoff showed up. So he didn't change anything for me. And I don't think he added much either. I don't know. Yeah, that's essentially it.
No, it was I agree. Oh, what's about
I wrote down the big thing about the wrestlers is, like, why do they care, including Eric B, why do they care about MJF joining the Inner Circle? Why would they take the time to ask questions? Why does anyone care? Eric Bischoff makes more sense because he's like a commentator, analyst sort of personality. But I don't know. I was trying to justify it the entire time I was watching it. I was just like, no, it's like the Muppets. Like, they're all playing characters. Luchasaurus is just a person in the crowd that's going to give his perspective on the situation. And like, I tried to really... that's what I was trying to do. I like that. But the longer it went on, it got harder. Then towards the end, when Ortiz started talking and he set up a match for next week, I don't like how MJF has escalated things so much that I wanted it to be more subtle. I wanted it to be more subtle and to maybe kind of like have fun with it before you get to this crazy stuff. But they went so far. I'm a fan of the match. Like, MJF versus Chris Jericho. If MJF wins, he's going to be in the Inner Circle. I think that's funny. I think that's great. I love the idea that that's what this ended up being. A match, decide who's going to get into the thing. Yeah. That being said, the match next week, where him and Guevara are going to face Wardlow and MJF, that's dumb. And the questions were kind of lame. And I just felt it was awkward. It just felt a big letdown from the past few weeks. What do you think is
we
dumb
got
about...
bump, 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 and then big drop with MJF segment.
Yeah, I agree. That's, I think, what makes it extra disappointing is that I just got used to thinking it was going to be awesome. Like every
amazing.
Time the 2 of them are together. What do you think? Why don't you like that tag team match?
It just felt. It was another thing. It felt forced. Like, I feel I don't want to see that much aggression from Inner Circle until he's already in there. Like I like the idea of him picking on Guevara, and I would love for everyone else to be like, yeah, we'll wait and see. But Guevara's just like, no, listen to me. He's a piece of shit. And they're just like, oh, little Sammy, whatever, like almost brushing him off. Like that would make it more interesting story for me than them already being suspicious of him. And they already don't want him in the group because I want to see them interact. I want to see them go to Disney World together. And then MJF like cuts in front of the handicap line or something. Like I want to see them dislike him for him trying to be their friend.
That's a great idea. Actually, they kind of put themselves in a corner. If he does win the match at the pay-per-view, then I doubt Chris Jericho is going to treat him nicely. If he's after beating him. So it would have been a fun dynamic to think like maybe like Santana or Ortiz have like turned and like, oh, he's actually pretty cool. Like he's great. And then, but Sammy and Chris are the ones that are like, angry at him. I don't know. Yeah, that could have been fun dynamics pulled there. This does feel forced. Yeah. It also feels forced to have Ortiz out of nowhere, like show how pissed off he is. When
he hasn't spoken once this entire, except for screaming about the best friend's mom.
Yeah.
Has he said anything?
He says the best a lot. In fact, I thought that was he just screams, the best, the best, the best. He just screams that to the point where I didn't know if he could like talk, like as like a character, obviously he could talk. Like I thought maybe it's like, oh, maybe he's just kind of crazy and just screams stuff, But no,
he's fun.
Yeah.
Man. All right. Well, what was that? That was your. So I did not agree with that. My what? That was my middle ground.
All right.
Middle ground. But my next what? Okay. Miro and Kip Sabian attacked best friends. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. It was so dumb. They go over to Trick or Treat, and they try to get. What did they try to do? Give them something?
I think just candy or
just
something.
Candy,
yeah, just like a bucket of candy, and then
It was just terrible. Then, it was stupid.
What happens? Penelope Ford shows up as Orange Cassidy, and then then she just shows up, and then they're like, "Surprise! We're actually jerks," or something.
They say "trick or treat," trick or treat, and they're like neither. And he's like, "Oh, trick," and they beats them up, and they beat him up. And I just thought that was such a waste. That was like dumb. They wanted to get Miro and Kip in there somehow. I think there's a better way they could have done it. I would have loved like them. Why what they should do? A great way to have Miro and Kip do promos and such, like take an arcade machine and put a GoPro at the top of it and have them playing video games, just talking about how they're going to beat the shit out of the person as they're playing with each other. Like that would be great. You're getting like this kind of Twitch perspective of them playing a game. I think that would be very fun.
That actually would be good. What do you think?
Rather than doing stupid nonsense.
Yeah. It was kind of cool how he threw Trent into the wall. I like that. But it didn't really. I think for me, it's just like such a stupid reason to fight somebody, to fight a team, is that a guy that wears fucking $1,500 worth of pajamas into the ring for a promo is upset because some guy destroyed his his video game. Like, just buy 12 more, man. You can do it. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
No, it was a gift.
Oh, well, maybe
they mentioned it was a gift from Penelope to Kip, or Kip to Penelope.
They saved the console part. That's like the most difficult. Just create the rest of it,
They don't. Not everyone has a Chadwick. Moet.
A Chad.
That's inside baseball. Chadwick built those arcade machines at our old comedy theater.
Yes, our old friend Chadwick.
Old friend Chadwick.
That's true.
I can't remember his last name right now.
Bozeman.
Chadwick Boseman, our friend Chadwick Boseman. Moving on. Moet, what's your next one? What?
I don't know. I wasn't ready for this. I was too busy laughing at my own joke. Taz promo. I didn't like the Taz promo. Not much to say there. They just more that I don't understand what's going on with the story that they want Will Hobbs. Why hasn't Will Hobbs said if he's going to join the thing? And to me, they just showed clips of Will Hobbs helping out Darby. They're all of their mortal enemy, like Brian Cage and Ricky Stark. So obviously Will Hobbs is not going to say yes because he's friends with Darby. I don't know. It's just kind of boring to me. That's why
I don't get the motivation behind Team Taz. We've discussed this a few times, but they seem to be very directionless. And dare I say, a group of losers.
Yes. Yes, even though I love all of them.
I like Ricky Starks. But Brian Cage has lost everything he's done. Taz sounds like an idiot most times, unless he's doing his Taz technique breakdown or something.
Those are great.
I love that when he was taking a move and really talking about it. Now he's giving these promos. He's just like, Hobbs. He's big as hell. He's fast as hell. He's mean as hell. He's smart as hell. Just get a new thing. Like it's hard. It's hard. I don't get their motivation. That's a good what. Wasn't my what, but it's a good what. My next what would be. Scorpio Sky Sneaking Attack.
Hey,
what's his face?
Yeah, Sean Spears. That's essentially my last one. That's my last what? Yeah.
No, it's excellent.
Yeah, there you go. Are you marking down every time we get one together? What are you writing? I see you always writing stuff.
Because I get very confused, and the way my thing has been situated, you can't see it. They made me invisible.
Wait, no, do it. Try it again. I want to. Oh yeah, it just goes away. It's okay. You're just gone now. I see a bunch of scribbles, some more just a lot of scribbles.
There's a lot of scribbles. I have a very specific technique that gets very confusing for me fast, so I'm constantly scratching out what we just talked about, so I don't go back there.
And it's a big scribble to get.
It's like don't go there.
Yeah,
like
that's great. Thank you for that insight into your brain.
But Scorpio Sky, that was dumb.
Yeah, I was just bored by it. Nothing. I like that. I mean,
I like Sean Spears though.
Yeah, and it was cool that he got to do a squash. I wasn't sure the reason for it until Scorpio Sky showed up. And I'm like, oh, because he needs a win on Dynamite. He needs to look somewhat like threatening on Dynamite before he faces Scorpio Sky. So I was okay with it. But otherwise, it was just like sort of boring, the whole thing. Now I don't know. I don't know what they could have done to change. But
this is a petty what, I guess, because it's whatever. It doesn't. No one looked bad. I like what Sean Spears is doing though. I like what Sean Spears these little nuances with how he's like. It's almost like he's seen the light. He's like, oh, everything's easy now. Something clicked. It's like the character looks like something clicked, and now he knows the secret. And that's what I see from him. Like, he's just like, oh, I could just go in and just get the win real easy. I could just do that. Like, it's almost, and then he got the win. He's just like, yeah, just like that. And he pins him, and he's like, this weird, like, not smile on his face, but just like almost like a knowing smirk. Just like, it was great. The nuance of it was if they keep going with this, with Tully just standing there, I just love Tully and everything he does. It's crazy how much I love that.
I like that he was like throwing stuff at Scorpio Sky. Did you catch that?
Yeah, I did, and of course he would. Like, that's what a manager shouldn't just stand by. He's just like, he looks like he's literally furious, like all the time. He looks like a very scary old man. Like, I wouldn't want to like drink a beer with him because I'm afraid he'd say some very scary story that I'm going to be very uncomfortable with. I'm big fan of his whole deal. I do have one more what for you. One more what. It's small, but because Bunny is back with the blade, and on the announce team said that Bunny maxed out all of QT Marshall's credit cards.
Yeah.
And that's why she was with him.
Yeah.
To get access to his credit cards. And I just wish they'd just drop it. They love dropping things so much. Just drop it. Don't give us a reason. Don't remind us just a few weeks ago that she was happily with someone else with no problems.
Yeah.
I'd rather them just drop it and just move on.
I think the part of a group on the internet, including myself, were very, very frustrated, furious that she changed back to the Bunny, because they built this storyline for a month or two about her being it, and then it just drops and nothing, So I think they've shown it a couple times now, her reveal, as if it matters anything. Of her just like, well, see, look, Eddie Kingston brought her back, but it doesn't mean anything, And I think they're just trying to appease us, but yeah.
It really deflated her.
Yeah, it's really frustrating because I actually like her as a performer. I think she has potential, and she has a lot of good presence. I think she's gonna play off of Eddie Kingston really well, because she has sort of like a bratty kind of side to her, which could be really fun with Eddie. But But yeah, no, that whole feud was really, really frustrating that they would like drop it when I don't know. Just some sort of conclusion would have been nice. I feel hurt. I sound hurt. I feel hurt.
You sound like you've been burned.
Yeah,
You're a
but it's not that,
lover. Like,
it's just wrestling, whatever.
No, don't say that where you're emotionally invested. That's the good thing. Any big takeaways from tonight? Anything that you're excited about for next week or the following weeks?
Oh, Jesus. What is happening
Anything
next
else on
week?
top of your head?
No.
Top of your head. Any Full Gear? Are you excited for Full Gear? That's this weekend.
No, it's next weekend.
No.
Isn't it next weekend? It's November 7th. So 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I am excited. We got one more Dynamite next, and then Full Gear. So I don't remember what's happening on Dynamite off the top of my head.
One thing I do know that happened on Dynamite this week is when they were talking about Dynamite next week, the announcers did such a good job of not over talking. You know how we've been talking for weeks, how when they're doing that stuff, they miss cues and they're jumping back and forth. This was tight. They went like boom, boom, boom. They're real quick, and they did such a good job. They must be listening to us. They must be hearing it.
Sure, yeah, of course. Yeah. Hangman and Kenny are going to be great. FTR Young Bucks are probably going to be great. I think it's going to be a really good pay-per-view when it happens. Like, at least the matches themselves are great. It's just the build-up to them could have been better. But that, I think, is going to be a continuing story for AEW, I think, where the match is going to be great. Stories they're still working on, which is fine, I think. You know, they're only a year in. You know, they'll get better. They're getting there.
They're getting there. And while we're going to get there, too, thank you all so much for listening. Loser Leaves Wrestling. Please make sure to send a mail to the mailbag.
Please.
Send a mail to the mailbag. loserleavespod@gmail.com. Loser Leaves Wrestling on Instagram and on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. And make sure to review us for your podcasting. Moet, my name is Red Jefferson. This is Moet Jaswell. Moet, if Stanley Kubrick made a film about your life, what would it be called? And say the opening line.
This is too much for me, Red.
No, thank you so much. Hey, have a great night.